Welcome to the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable. Is there gold in them thar hills? That is the question for the day. I'm Rob Simpson. Answering that question will be Vishal Vatura over there in the other penthouse suite. Paying big time rent down in the far corner is TK Inchena, and having wicked bashes in the basement, Chris Perry right down there. Keep it down. Keep that down there. I'm trying to. Let's talk about SKRR.V. That would be SKRR on the venture exchange. We're talking about SKRR resources, and we're talking about gold. Vishal is the leadoff hitter.
All right. So SKRR Exploration is a junior resource mining company with a very experienced Hall of Fame team. They are located in Saskatchewan, and they do hold 3 projects. Very interesting. I follow gold companies here and there. Generally, we're looking at BC, Quebec, Ontario, sometime the Yukon there. Not much in Saskatchewan. And again, this is more of an early stage company here, and they're betting on a big discovery basically in Saskatchewan. This trend, Hudson corridor. So I'm showing you guys here on an image where their properties are located. They're saying that this belt could be the next Abitibi region. And if you guys do invest in some gold companies or juniors in the Ontario region, then you sort of know how famous this area is. That's where all the big boys and the explorers and miners are over there in Ontario. And they're believing, SKR is believing that this part of Saskatchewan hasn't had much exploration. And as you can see, it is actually in close proximity to some regional geology and close to a past producing mine. Here are some, in bold letters here, some past drills and some discoveries in the past. And also, I'm just going to scroll down here and show you here again, 200 major gold occurrences in Saskatchewan, and also a very good jurisdiction, ranked number 3 in the world for mining investment attractiveness.
So we've talked about resource companies before, and we've talked about gold before. TK, what differentiates these guys? They're in Vancouver. Their main man is their president, Sherman Dahl. But what are you thinking about when you analyze SKRR resources?
So with a lot of these guys, since it is a commodity, they have to differentiate themselves on either costs or what they actually do with the cash. And that all goes to what the management team does with the cost and the cash. But the big thing, the trend overall, and to bother people with the economics is sometimes arbitrary, but I think it's important for the gold miners, explorers especially, is something has been going on over the last few years, where demand has increased. So the demand side for them has increased, and the supply, there's been a tightening of supply, or lack of supply is the better word. So people or companies who are actually putting money down now and finding any deposits are acquiring some of the highest prices, depending on how they hedge their transactions. And with this company, they have $3 million in cash that's ready to deploy into equipment and other projects as well. They have $5 million in property, and that's at cost. So that's not counting any market appreciation, discoveries, etc. And they also fund most of their operations from equity. So there's no debt on the balance sheet, which kind of gives the company stability to focus just on its operations. And that differentiates it from other companies, other miners who are debt heavy, because they go through cyclical patterns where there's nothing going on for 5 years and you need to fund your day-to-day through issuing debt or bank loans, etc. And that kind of puts you in a strategic position to allow you to deploy capital productively. So for example, in 2020, they spent close to $3 million on capital expenditures. Mostly there's organic and then there's growth. Most of this CapEx is organic CapEx. So it's going down to maintaining what they have already so that they can explore their 3 projects profitably to kind of acquire at the time, the high prices that gold was experiencing because of the demand and supply economics that are happening.
CP, in the last couple of weeks, we've talked about other resource companies, ones you're very familiar with. So the viability factor here, whether you're comparing or not.
Well, look, we go back a lot to the old adage, you bet on the jockey, not on the horse. And the jockey in this case is, if you're putting together an all-star lineup, a murderer's row board of directors for Canadian explorers, one of the names you'd have on the list would be Ross McElroy. He was the Northern Miner Mining Person of the Year in 2013. He got the PDAC Award for Exploration Success in 2014. The dude who is Saskatchewan royalty, basically. A lot of work in the uranium field, and none of that to be sneezed at. Him and his group were part of the discoveries that led to a company called Cameco, which mining guys know pretty well. If you look down the list of directors on this board and the advisory board, it's a who's who. It really is of everyone who's worked in that area. Guys that were behind Fission, guys that were behind Nova Gold. There's Novus Energy. Like this is one of those deals that's spotted with good jockeys. Now, generally speaking, with that sort of pedigree, you'd be coming in early at a $40 million valuation. Right now, this thing's a $5 million valuation. To be able to get in on a deal that McElroy is leading, that Sherman Dahl is the head of, this group has had some involvement in Pretium previously. One thing I always look for is evidence that the early stage deal that I'm buying into is not going to unwittingly drag me into a pump and dump situation. And these guys are not the pump and dump guys. These are company builders. These guys have had exits in the past. They've had big discoveries. And if they're getting into a new little deal, then I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt straight off the bat, because they've made their money, right? They don't need to come in and just do a quick 4-month flip. This is something obviously that they believe in. It is very early stage. It is a fairly prolific resource community up there. Saskatchewan, like we discussed Kalgoorlie in Western Australia the other day, if you want to put a drill through the middle of an ICU ward at the local hospital, fill in 5 forms in triplicate and pay $25 to the cashier, and you're in. No one's going to stand in the way of a mining project in Saskatchewan. This area has had plenty of them in the past. These guys have had plenty of them in the past in this province. And, 1 and 1 equals 2 in this situation. Doesn't guarantee that the drills will hit what they want it to hit. Doesn't guarantee that gold won't fall on its face in some distant future. But right now, I think a lot of people are looking at potential economic distress in North America over the next year or two. And that always ends up in a rush to gold. So I think the timing is good. The people is good. The place is good. Certainly the buy-in point is good. On a $5 million market cap, honestly, sell your 2-bedroom in Burnaby and you'd be able to buy half this company right now. And to buy half of a McElroy exploration deal at the beginning, I think is it's a pretty solid in.
Charts, Michelle?
Yep. We'll look at the charts. I should probably just announce this here too, that they are actually turning the drills right now. So catalysts are on the horizon, drill results. But chart-wise, just as Chris said, $4.96 million market cap. And we are pretty much at a very major support zone. When I say major, I mean, it's pretty much the lowest the stock has been. I'm just zooming out here back to 2009 there. But near the 10 cents to 13 cent zone, that's what we're looking at right now. The stock did get a bit of a bump today, up 4% today at that support levels. But we are talking about 6,000 shares traded. But yeah, this is definitely one of those, early stage companies, and you are betting on those drill results there. And if you are big on gold, which also finished green today, these are just obviously the futures that are traded right now, but gold had a nice green candle as well. So if you are bullish on gold, generally these juniors follow gold, but follow gold on steroids.
Let's go around the horn, and you're going to take my $5,000. And this is a hell of an entry point, as you guys have already pointed out. So let's go to third base first. If I'm at home plate, to Chris Perry and ask him how much of my money he's spending.
Well, first I want to know how much you owe your ex-wife before I commit everything you've got to the deal.
I've given her pretty much everything I have already, so
okay, so
not much left.
Tell her about it. Look, resource investing is a peculiar thing, right? It's not for everybody. You've got to have your big boy pants about you. Sometimes you're just going to wake up and your stock is going to be down for no good reason, much like it is with biotech. And then some mornings you're going to wake up, find that they've had some nice drill results, and suddenly you're double or triple. I like it for that reason. You know, I don't want to put my money into fucking BMO and get 7% on the end of the year. I don't want to be waiting for a 2-cent dividend. I want to be in on a stock that if they have a good news morning, I've doubled my money. And I think at a $5 million market cap with this crew and this project at this time in the world, I don't see this as being inherently risky. If they had to wrap it all up tomorrow because no one was going to give Ross McElroy any more money, I'd be shocked. There's always going to be someone out there who's like, yeah, okay, these guys are a good guardian of my investment. So they've got some cash in the bank right now. They're using some of it to drill. They've got plenty sitting there. They're not blowing through the family fortune, sending people around first class. This is just a nuts and bolts deal for me. I think if you've got the patience to wait for a little bit and let this thing come together, it's going to be a very promising use of your proceeds and time.
TK, how much cash you spending?
So I actually kind of like the setup for this one. If I was looking at it from the perspective of a private owner. So for example, Chris is sitting there, he's looking at this and he sees that it's worth 5 million in the market, but its assets are close to 8 million. And he knows that investment bankers are cheeky. So they'll throw in a 25% control premium, which will bring up the total price to close to 6 million. You're still buying it at quite a discount to its actual assets. And that's not even including the earning power of the future gold that it might take out. So I'm putting 5,000 in.
Woo.
Woo!
Oh.
EK all in.
Michelle, what are you doing?
Roll that dice.
I mean, for me, I do like gold. I am bullish gold. Like the support level here, experienced management, and we do have a catalyst that is on the horizon. I've been burned in the past, with some juniors, so I tend to not allocate 5K in them. I tend to take it in steps, in 1K increments, but I would maybe start 1K here because it is at a nice support level. We have a catalyst coming, but again, it's not a guarantee they're going to hit something with those drills, so you just got to be careful about that. But I would start 1K. Again, I am bullish on gold, so generally these juniors will appreciate if gold prices do rise, even with no news sometimes, right? Most of the times, actually. So yeah, I would start with 1K, wait for those results, and then take it from there.
Beautiful. Let's get after it and get some gold in them thar hills. Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Keep throwing the good bashes downstairs. Or just turn the radio down a little bit there, Chris. TK, thanks for paying your rent. Rochelle, a little lunch on the veranda later? What do you say? This has been the Equity Guru Investor Roundtable, and it's been all about SKRR resources, which is SKRR.V. By the way, none of this is guaranteed. People, do your own investment research, because past performance does not guarantee future results, nor does our comments or suggestions. You have to educate yourselves. So we're just a little teeny piece of the puzzle. Have a great day. We'll see you next time on the Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.